This is Error Jumbo. In this tutorial, we'll continue the CAPTCHA series where we create a CAPTCHA using JavaScript. So in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to scramble the text a little bit. As you can see, instead of just having plain text in a single line, what we're doing is we're going to curve it, and then we're going to put a line over it so the text is a little harder for bots to detect. Before I begin, a quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. You visit jumbo.com, you go to watch menu, live sub menu. You can see the topics for all the post-dated live streams. This means there's the topics for future live streams. And this current live stream right now, called JavaScript Text Capture, the channel is going to be on and the days and time for the live stream. Each of those articles will have a snippet at the top of the article to tell you the day and time, which is always Eastern time. You're free to ask questions related to programming topics, and where you can do the where you can view the live stream, or where you can log in and request chat requests, anything like that. So this, you just click this link and it will go there. If you don't want to do that, you can just watch this video, and I also have a embedded video for this article. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And also, if you want some specific content, just put it in the comments or in the live chat if you happen to join us live. So, basically, in this series, I'm just creating a verification form. So it's just JavaScript, meaning you can just create an HTML page and just drag and drop it into your favorite web browser. And of course, you can also put this into an application. We'll probably get to that in a future tutorial. Okay, so what is CAPTCHA? CAPTCHA means completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. It involves challenges such as identifying distorted text. You see this one is now partly distorted, or selecting images. The CAPTCHA is used on web forms to prevent spam, malicious bots, and other automated attacks. So a CAPTCHA presents a challenge that is relatively easy for humans to complete but difficult for bots to replicate. In this tutorial, the distorted text-based CAPTCHA will be generated that users must type in the input box. So an SV image will be used as a placeholder before drawing on the canvas. So I could have drawn everything on the canvas, but that was some really complex math, and I didn't want to do that. Then, and I remember that we can use an SVG. SVG is a vector image, so you can do some things. You can even use CSS if you want, and you can, for example, this is I just put text on a curve, but you can also use vertices. To draw something else, and for example, if the text was long, it's actually a wave. I actually do it like this, so it's a wavy, so the text would be like this. You could do that as well, and that will make it easy for humans, because as humans we can easily read this, but a bot will not be able to read it. And another thing I did is you see there's also a refresh button here. So when you click the refresh, the CAPTCHA code will actually change. And the reset, obviously, will just remove everything inside the input boxes. The reset doesn't need any JavaScript. And the submit was when you submit the form. So obviously, this form will just be, we prevent the default behavior because this is just a fun tutorial. Okay, so I have a glossary here. If you want to read if you don't know what an SVG stands for, I already explained. It's a vector graphics, XML based, 2D. And what parsing is, and what segmentation is, and what invariant recognition is. So for future tutorials, I will do the image, but I'm just showing other types of CAPTCHAs. Obviously, today we're doing the distorted letters or numbers, and this is the image. This is also an SV image, and then you can also do one where the audio. Where you can play the audio. For example, if you play this audio, or jumbo.com, yeah, you see it. That's what happened. And then there's also some involving math. We probably won't do this one, or maybe we will. Maybe we'll probably do all of them in the future. So to follow along this tutorial, this is the code for HTML, this is the code for CSS, and this is the one for the disordered JavaScript capture, including the validator. And I've already explained this. These are screenshots, as you can see here. Before it was styled, when it was styled, and then when you enter something wrong, you hit submit, you say it's failed here, and then when it's successful, it will be to say valid. Obviously, this will probably do something else depending what you want your form to do. Okay, so, and as I promised, this is the video for this current tutorial. For example, if we play it, you hit submit, you say it's failed here. Yeah, so there you go. All right, now with that out of the way, I just want to let you know that JavaScript and CSS are both licensed by the W3C, that's a World Wide Web Consortium. So that means they're both licensed under the W3C software license, which is a permissive license. SVG itself is also maintained by the same consortium, and also same license, which is also permissive. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get started. I'm going to use NetBeans IDE. You can use any IDE text editor you want to use. You can also use the Learning JavaScript course web IDE. That's on our jumboshop.com, and you just make sure you put your code in a new browser window. I've done examples that maybe I'll do in a future one. I'll do the same things. I'll use it as well, just to give it a little promotion. Okay, with that out of the way, this is NetBeans here. You see I have an empty file, and it's called CAPTCHA-text HTML. I've also zoomed in here, so you should be able to see what I'm doing. And let's get started with the coding. So the first thing is for valid HTML, you should always have a doc type. So that's just HTML. Then we create some HTML tags. I should have closed that one off. HTML. Oh no, OBS makes this slow. I don't know why. Or maybe because it's so large. When you zoom in, it's a little bit slower. Okay, so just give it a title. And we'll tell this one text. CAPTCHA form. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll create a style. This is not a styling tutorial, but yeah, because I don't want this tutorial to go too long. So what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste the styles in here, and I'll explain them. Actually, you know what? I won't add them yet. I'll show you what this looks like unstyled. Actually, it doesn't actually look too bad without any styling. So I'll just let that go. So we need a form. I'll give it a class attribute, and I'll call it capture validator. And inside there, I'll have a heading. So the heading will be, I'll give it a class attribute. So we can target this for our in a CSS, and this one will be h3. Okay, so just a form capture validator. Okay, then I will create my SVG here, give it a class, and call it capture SVG. Now you can create this in something like Inkscape, which is a free open source application. It's cross-platform, so you can use it on Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. So in here, this is where we put our SVG stuff. So as I said, I just use a path. So as you can see here, I gave the path ID because we can target this with CSS as well, or the JavaScript, which we will. And you can see here it's M6. Oh, this is just a path. It's just to draw. It's literally just a curve. It's just a curve. And then what I'm doing is, if you remember, the text was the text looked garbled, and the reason for that is because I'm using the Gaussian blur, and I use a standard deviation of 5, and I also used a turbulence with the noise. I created a little noise, and the number of octaves was 1, and then I also put a displacement map. So this will basically, what this will do is it will make the text won't be affected, but it's going to give an effect that the text has been jumped or about. So a displacement map, and it's going to use our noise in here, the turbulence, and scale is 20. You can throw around these numbers as well, but that's fine. So that's our filter. So that has to be in the group filter. And then our text here, you see it's also it's going to target that filter. So the text here, this stuff like the fill and all this can actually be done by CSS. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this, and instead of leaving it as an SVG, I could also have left it as an SVG image. I don't want to do that, because if I do that, a bot might be able to read this. So that's why I put it on the canvas, and that way a human has to read it from the canvas. Okay, and then the text path, remember, so basically it's going to follow this path. So that's our SVG part. Okay, and obviously now after this we need a canvas, because this is where we're going to actually draw this image. So class middle and capture, and then we close it off. I don't know why I didn't pick it up. Canvas, there we go. And then after that I will create a div to hold a few items in here. So the div class equals middle, okay, div, see here, and oops, that's not where I want to be. Might have zoom out a little bit because it's really hard to type with everything jumping around. Okay, so this is, I'll put the input box. So the type is going to be obviously text, and the name equals validate, and the placeholder attribute, I'll say enter code. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit more. There we go. I want everything to fit on one line, and this is our button to refresh the code. Give it a class attribute, so the class will be called refresh, and okay, refresh. Okay, I think that's it for our buttons there, and then we're going to put an image here. So we can take the thing from the canvas and just dump it here into the image if you want to do that as well. Div. So we'll create one more div, and this will be for the buttons at the bottom. Equals capture buttons. Close off the div. Okay, in here I'll just use input types. Submit. Give it a value of submit. And then actually I'll just duplicate this one and make this one reset, and just call it reset. So we're done with the HTML, the HTML markup part of our code. So after the form, we can put our script. Oh, that was slow. Okay, so our script. We want this to run automatically, so it will be an automatic function. Okay, so we can set the length of our text here. So for this tutorial, I'm going to set it to, say, I'll set it to, I think, 9 should be enough. So it'll be more wavy. So let output, let me see how much time it is. Okay, we still have lots of time. All right, so before we continue here, let's go check this out in a web browser. So I don't think I can drag and drop in here. I'll double check. Sometimes it works. Yeah, it says not found, so I have to use a different browser. I don't know why LibreFox can't do that. It's for local. Okay, where did the browser open up to? It says it's open. Oh yeah, it is open. Okay. Drag it here. There we go. So you see, this is the default SVG. So there's no styling. This is what it looks like. So we'll add styling later. Okay, let's go back to finish up our JavaScript here. So the output goes document.query selector, and it's going to be form.captcha. I'm targeting this particular form because there might be multiple forms on the page, and then output. Okay, I forgot one more thing in just outside the div here. I forgot to put an output tag. Okay, so that's HTML5. Okay, so we have our output. Okay, output tag. I'm gonna duplicate this, and now we're gonna get the validate, and the validate one is gonna be our input. The name, this one here, the name is validate. So input name equals validate. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this again. I'm going to get our CAPTCHA document and canvas capture. It's going to be canvas. There might be multiple canvases, so that's why, oops, capture. So it's going to grab this one here. See, it's capture. Okay, and then I'll set the code to null to begin. Okay, then I'm going to create a function which actually generates the code. So this is very similar to what we did before in the previous tutorial. The length. Okay, so code equals math dot random then to string 36 sub string 2,2 plus length. Okay, then we get the context equals capture dot get context. Remember, it's we're doing 2D, so 2D, two-dimensional. Then we're going to get the path. I say let path equals CSVG dot, oh, I forgot to put the SVG, so I'll do that one. Query selector text path. Okay, so let's make sure the text path here, yeah, this one, we're going to grab this one, text path. I forgot to also do after the validator, I need to duplicate validator as well. And this is going to be SVG. So obviously this is going to be not the input, but it's going to be SVG dot capture SVG. Make sure the SVG has a class. Yeah, see, capture SVG on line 12. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. Oh, I should also make this okay. Okay, next, what I'm going to do is the T path equal dot text content equals code. And then what I'll do is I'll let the base 64 be TOA new XML serializer dot serialize to string CSVG. Okay, and then what I'll do is let the image equals new image, and then the image dot, did I grab the image? Oh yeah, I'm creating the image now. So source equals data image slash SVG plus XML base 64 comma and then plus B64. Okay, then I set the width, so image.width equals 500, and then the image.height equals 150, then image.onload equals, create a dynamic function here. Then we get our context, draw image from 0 to 0, meaning that top left and right, starting from the top left and top right. Okay, now with that done, we are going to go to the output dot inner HTML equals nothing. So we clear the output, make it nothing. Finally, almost finally, so one more function. This is one to check the code when somebody clicks the submit button. Okay, so we say let val equals validate dot value, and then if val dot trim dot length is not equal to 0, and 2 ampersands, and val equals code. So the output dot inner HTML equals, I'm going to use variables here. So equals pass, and I'll say validated slash em. Okay, and I'll duplicate this because else, yes, I'll grab this, push it down there, and else it will say failed, and obviously this will be fail, not pass, so we'll say fail. Okay, almost done. So document dot query selector. So I think I should just grab one of these ones up here. They're essentially the same. So we're gonna grab the button refresh. Button dot refresh. And then we're gonna add event listener. So the event we're looking for is a click. And then we will finish up here. So we generate the code and we pass in the length. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate this event listener. And obviously the button we're looking for now is the validator button. Validator button. And when you click, that one we're going to prevent the default because we don't want the form to be submitted. So we say prevent default, meaning prevent the default behavior. And then in this particular case, we are going to check code, so CK, our function. And then with that outside that one, then when this program is first run, we get the length and set the default. So we generate a code for us. So with that out of the way, if I refresh this should actually be, I think, 7 characters. Okay, something is wrong. I made a mistake. So let's inspect it. Okay, I'll show you. So inspect, I made a mistake. It's telling me I made a mistake on line 48. So if I click this, it should take me to, why is it not going to line 48? Let's go here. Normally it does go to line 48, but okay, that's fine. So it says I forgot to unexpected token. So let's go back to the code here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. So there's somewhere where, oh yeah, this doesn't have it. This doesn't have it. Oh, here, it's telling me here. So I made a mistake on this line. Actually, I didn't even pay attention. The ID actually was correct. It's line 48. I made a mistake when I put the new XML serializer that serialized to string, and oh yeah, this one here. I forgot to put that like that. There we go. Now if I refresh, hopefully it works. No, there's another error. Okay, let's inspect again. Now it's saying me there's something wrong. You see, it says on line 69 of null. So that whatever I did there didn't exist. So it says on line 69. So we go to line 69. This one here, button validator says. Actually, it's that this is not needed. There's no button validator. It's just when the form is submitted, and this one is not click. It's actually submit. Okay. Hopefully now it's okay. Okay, there we go. So as you can see here, we have our SVG, and then this is the image. This is the image as well. So what we're going to do is, for example, if I enter something wrong here, well, that is not working. That's weird. Let me make sure there's no, there's no error. I wonder if they're hidden. I think they're hidden by default. There should be something here. Let me double check. Unless it's not targeting it. Body, form. Yeah, that's weird. There's nothing in our output. There should have been something in our output. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Failed. I guess I had to probably reset. That's the thing with JavaScript. When you work in JavaScript, be sure to, sometimes you might need to perform a hard refresh. So as you can see, it says failed, and obviously if I put the correct one, it will say pass. So before I do that, let me just style this. Let me see the time. Go back here. Okay, we kind of have time. So let me go and style this. So I'm going to grab the CAPTCHA validator button, comma, then also do the same thing for the input. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna give it some padding, 0.9 rem and 1.1 rem. Then here, I'll just copy this, one of these ones, go a little faster. Then we have the middle, middle. Okay, so for the middle, it will be a display block, and text will be aligned to the center, and give it a margin 0 and auto. Probably need this as well. Copy that down here. So this is going to be CAPTCHA buttons. CAPTCHA buttons. Actually, I know I'm going to need this, so I might as well just duplicate a few times. So the CAPTCHA buttons here, we're going to display flexbox, and justify content, space between. Okay, and this one is going to be pass. Oh, no, this one will be pass. So I'll just give it a color of green, and this one will be fail, and I'll give this one a color of red. Duplicate this a few times, and change this one to CAPTCHA SVG path, and we'll make this one a fill transparent, and then this one will be the text. So that one I'll give it a fill of gray, a font weight of bold. I'll give it a font family of cursive, if you have the font cursive, and font size I'll give it 4 rem. Rem is about 16 pixels. So text decoration, I'll make it line through. Okay, and one more, just the SVG itself. I'll hide it, so I'll say display none. Okay, now if we go back to our web browser, you can see here, if I click this, you see now it's styled, and you can actually see the noise and everything here. So one more time, if I put in the wrong, actually I'll put in the right ones because it's easier. So I think it's Q7. I don't know if that's a capital P. I'm gonna guess it's a capital P, E, H, K. I don't know if that's an I. I think it's an I, 30. I hope that's correct. Hit submit. It failed. Okay, I don't know what other is. I'll just refresh this one. Oh, I can't even read that one. That is, I can't read that one. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think it's not clearing. Yeah, it's not clearing it because that is, yeah, it's definitely not clearing. It's supposed to clear this. It's not clearing. Oh, it did clear this, but this is not being cleared. Let's go back to the code. I probably made a mistake somewhere. So the canvas is supposed to be cleared somewhere. I probably did not add that code. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change this back to like 5. Was it what it is? 5, I think it was. I'll make it 5. This will be easier to read. Yeah. So the more characters, the harder it is to read. So for example, this one is BDSOJ. Yeah. See, it says validated. And obviously, if I put the wrong something there again, you see it will say failed. And then if you put the right one, it will say validated. So somebody asked last time, why would you do this? Well, now you can see why, because if you have a form somewhere and some forms you're not, excuse me, sorry about that. Some forms you're only allowed to use JavaScript. This has happened before where there's like a mailing list form. It's only JavaScript, so you can't change the code or the styling or anything. You can only do JavaScript. So this would be one way where you would be able to, for example, you'll be able to once somebody what do you call it? You could have a form somewhere, and then before you submit the code, you could delay the submission, and then have them fill this out. So if it's validated, then you can hit submit. So that you could easily do that with JavaScript. So you don't have to do anything in the back end. It's just pure JavaScript. This has happened. I'll give you an example. There was a client. The business has shut down, but what they used to do is they would help large institutions, usually hospitals. And hospitals always have surveys. So for example, if you donate, they would send you somewhere where you could fill in information, so like how you're more likely to donate and everything like that. But the problem was those forms, you could simply just click the button and the empty data would be sent. So what would happen is that same client would come to me and says, Edward, we have like 2 billion records. Now I'm in Canada, and as you know, there's no way Canada has 2 billion people, right? So clearly some of those forms had been submitted several times. So with this type of things, you could make sure that a bot is not submitting it. So then what I had to do was I had to go through those 2 billion records and find records which, for example, only have an email address or are missing a name or something, because when my client's client wants to then send a message out like a thank you or something, they don't want to send out empty stuff, right? So those are the type of things why that's a use case where you could use this. It's pure JavaScript, as you saw. There's no you can even do embedded inline styling, so that way you don't even need a separate style sheet, as you just saw. I did that today. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's actually finish this tutorial up. The code is here, and you can also get the code in the article. So close this. I'll show you where you can get the code. So you can get the code here. So you just expand, and you see this is the HTML code. For example, you expand this, you see you get the HTML code for you. This is the CSS to style it, and this is the entire JavaScript. So you can just copy and paste and follow around. All you need is just a text editor. You can just grab this and throw it into any text editor. Just make sure it's like a programming type text editor. Like you can download Guinea. Anything that is not a WordPress, because WordPress sometimes messes up. Like for example, you see this single quote, it will make it into like apostrophe, and you might not want that. Okay. Also a quick reminder that every day I do host a live stream. So you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu, then you can see the topics for the current live stream and future live streams. I'm pretty excited about this one tomorrow. And then the channel it's going to be on, and date and time. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Thanks. I see I do have 2 likes already. Thanks for that. And also, if you enjoy this, please consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses on ojamboshop.com. You can buy my books on Amazon. Search for Edward Ojambo, links in the description. I've just released this book. It's called Master Blender Python API, and I have it in a paperback and ebook versions on Amazon. You can also hire me for all your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. And you can also become a donor. Ojambo.com/donate. The donate button is also up here. Okay, I'm going to check the chat, and I don't see any chat requests today, which is actually rare, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to end this, and I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Thank you for now.